So back then it was a little bit easier. You could still do it, but it was a little bit easier because I can't.
Hi everybody, this is Ro. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to tell you guys about open when letters. I had mentioned them in another video. Honestly, I don't even remember which one. I've pumped out so many recently, but I had mentioned them in another video and I said if you guys want me to elaborate on what they are, just let me know in the comments. And I had a few people who said yes, please let us know in the comments. So before we start, just a couple of housekeeping things. For anybody that's new, my name is Ro. I am the founder of a nonprofit organization called Strong Prison Wives and Families, where I use my many years of experience as a prison wife to help prison wives and family members feel educated, empowered, supported, and loved, not only while their loved ones are serving time, but long after they get home. So if you stick with me and use the tools and exercises that I provide to you, your loved one will get out, they will stay out, and together you will live happily ever after. I haven't said that in a long time, and it's a mouthful. Another couple things. First of all, if you're new here again, welcome. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button before you go so you never miss a future video. And also, whether you're new or you've been here forever, you know I love you if you've been here and part of my tribe for a long time, both new and long-term members. But make sure that you give this video a like so YouTube knows that this content is worth sharing with other people. So people who have been in your shoes when you felt like you were alone and you had nobody else who understood you on this journey, they will also find what they need through this channel. So I can't thank you guys enough. Okay, so let's talk about the topic at hand, which is open when letters. So when I first started looking around online to see any kind of support groups or any information that was out there, when I first started Strong Prison Wives and Families, a big thing that went around were open when letters. And honestly, they're not just in the prison wife community, they're in for a lot of long distance relationship communities. There's a lot of forums and help communities for people who have loved ones who are far away from them. Military wives, people who meet online and they still live states or countries even apart. This is huge and it's so helpful, and we adopted it and we brought it into our community. So the mail rules were a little bit different back then. Since then, they've gotten a little bit more strict, especially in the federal system, or at least that's the system that I can speak of, where since they've gotten a little bit more strict with the mail rules. But there's still ways around it, and I'm gonna talk you guys through it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna send a whole bunch of letters at the same time. The original way that this was done, and it worked for a long time, and in some states it might still work, and that's awesome. You just have to know what the rules are in your state and at your facility. You're gonna send a letter, and the letter is going to be written for some sort of future date. You're not going to date this letter, and it's going to say, you know, when you're sad, then this is a letter I'm going to write to you when you're feeling sad, and you're going to put it in a little envelope, and the envelope's going to say open when you're sad. And then you're going to do these letters for all different types of emotions. And in order for you to successfully pull off these open when letters, both you and your loved one have to understand the rules. So there's no cheating, like open when you're bored and you're gonna open when you're happy letter. You know what I mean? Like, it works the best if they actually genuinely stick to it and open the letter when they're in that type of a mood. So rule number one, no early peeking. And you could write out these rules first and send them either as the top sheet with all of these other letters, or you can write out the rules, send them, and then separately send the open when letters. And I know for you guys that are like, I can't send a letter in an envelope. They open up all the mail. It comes all out of envelopes. Girl, I got you. That's how it always has been for me. And I've done this successfully. Okay, rule number two. Open the letter when it applies. So kind of like rule number one, you're not going to open it you're not going to peak early, but you're also going to really open this when you're in that mood and when you're feeling that emotion that the letter says. So open when you're sad. You're going to actually genuinely open this letter when you're feeling sad. Number three, don't show the letters to other people. Honestly, I'm not sure that in jail they're going to show each other sappy, like open when letters. But then again, they might be like, look at my girl. My girl is better than your girl. They might do that in there, but ask him, just be like, these are kind of, unless you don't care. But one of the rules might be, if you do care, if you're private, this is something between me and you. I'd prefer if you don't show it to anybody. Except the mailroom when they're looking through your mail. But, you know, that's besides the point. That's just something we wouldn't show our sexy pictures to anybody else either out here. But it's just part of the game that we have to play in there. And
Out of sight, out of mind, don't even think about it, or you're not gonna send those pictures.
Okay, rule number 4. This one's really actually good, especially for our loved ones in these situations. Try not to open more than X amount of letters a week. So it's probably going to be tempting for them to open up all of the letters, but you want to be able to space them out. Plus, especially for them in there, you want to be able to look forward to something, especially if a lockdown's coming and you're feeling really lonely. Well, then the open when you're lonely letter will come into handy there. But if you're like chomping at the bit and jonesing to get inside of these letters, it's not going to have as much meaning behind it. So try really hard to not open more than, let's say, 1 or 2 letters, whatever you want it to be. Your rules for open a certain amount of letters in the week, whatever they may be. I might say like open no more than 1 letter a week. If you're feeling sad and happy this week, sorry, open the sad letter and then wait until the next time you're happy, as long as it's next week or after. Number 5, this one might apply to us and it might not apply to us, and I'll tell you why. It is save the letters. Sure, I get it. You want them to save the letters, but at the same time, a lot of times they're not allowed to keep too much property. So if they have to get rid of the letters, that's fine. But they could work where it's open when you're sad and then reread in 5 months when you're sad again. So that's up to them, however they want to do it. I don't tell him what he could do with his property in there. He doesn't tell me what I could do with my property out here.
Someday he might, though, be like, girl, you need to downsize all of that meaningless crap in your life, and he's gonna Marie Kondo the crap out of my life.
But until then, he doesn't tell me what to do with my stuff, and I really can't tell him what to do with his. So prison relationships can be really difficult, and by mailing in open when letters, it can make it so much easier to get through those tough days that they experience on the inside. There's a lot of depression, although they don't admit it to us. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of feeling just lonely and like they miss everybody. And it's hard because they're not allowed to express their emotions in there. They try to keep them really under wraps because you don't want to be taken as weak. You don't want to be perceived as not strong. The opposite of weak, because then you might potentially get messed with in there. So these are really good because they help them uncover those emotions when they can retreat to the privacy of their own cell and they're having a bum day. Then they can open whatever letter coordinates with that feeling of that day. What you're going to do first for you, if you're sending these, is first you're going to decide how many letters you're going to send and the emotions that you're going to send. So you could, let's say, send 5 different emotions, and then once you go through all of those, or he goes through all of those, or she goes through all of those, then you could do it in a couple months down the road and pick other things. Or you could do them for not necessarily emotions, but for experiences, like open when you're on lockdown, open when it's Christmas. So you could do it for certain events. You just have to decide how many you will do and what the theme of your letters will be. And these are great gifts, you guys. I had a lot of girls who would do these for Christmas or for Valentine's Day or for birthdays because it's a whole bunch of mail that they can get on that day, which is always amazing for them to hear their name at mail call. But it's a really good gift too, and it's something that they can get because we're so limited to what we can send for birthdays and holidays and as gifts. This is great because it's mail, and we know constitutionally they're protected by that and they're allowed to get post office mail. So this helps a lot. So this one I'm relying on the phone for, but these are some of the ideas and suggestions for the types of letters to send. Open when you miss me. Open when you need a laugh. Open when you need motivation. Open when you're stressed. Open when you need to smile. That's probably my fave. Open when you first receive these letters. So the very first letter they say is the most important one. So you'll want to make sure it includes all of the rules for the rest of these letters. So you might want to write number 1 or read this first or whatever it is so they know. You want to keep this note kind of short and light and positive and remind them of all of the reasons why you love them and all of the reasons why these open when letters were a gift, an idea for you to send. And then these are some more, they just pulled together a whole bunch. I could share this list with you guys if you want, but open when it rains, open when you have a rough day at work, open when you're disappointed, which is really good for appeals or things being denied or anything, because there's so many disappointments that go on in there. I don't even want to get started. Open when you can't stay focused, open when you feel lonely, open when you doubt yourself. Open when you're having a lazy Sunday. Open when you want to cry. Open on your birthday. Open on my birthday.
The most important day of the year, just saying.
Open on our anniversary. Open after we've said goodbye. You could write open after you leave visit. Open after the first day. Open after the first week. Open after the first month. Open on the last day. That's kind of cool. Like you could make it open on month 12 from the door, 11 from the door, 10 from the door. So you don't even have to do emotions. You could do it every month that they get closer to their homecoming. And then open on the last morning before they leave. Open when you need a hug. Open when you can't sleep. Open when it's a holiday. Open when you're bored. Open when you find something that reminds you of me. Open when we've had a fight. Open when you're sick. Open when you're homesick. And there's so many others that you can come up with. If you think of more and you want to share in the comments below, that would be awesome. We can all learn from one another. So the way that you do these letters, again, is you're going to write out the letter for when they're sad or happy or they have 12 months left, how you're feeling, what you're thinking. The last day is so fun. And then you're going to put them in an envelope if you can. And like I said earlier, you're just going to write open when whatever on this envelope. And then they get to decide when they're going to do it. But in cases where they open up all their mail, you're just going to have to write across the top of it in large letters. I used to say use highlighter, but now you can't send any color, and that's fine. So just say in really big letters, do not read this now. Read it when you're happy. Read this when you're sad. Read this when blah, blah, blah. So then this way they don't, and ask them to follow the rules, and I'm sure they will, but ask them not to read that particular piece of paper, that particular letter, until they're feeling the emotion that would be on the outside of that envelope. Because just because they open up all their mail and everything comes out of the envelope like it does in the feds doesn't mean you can't participate, doesn't mean you can't get creative and do these open when or read when letters. So I'll post a couple of examples. I don't know why I'm doing this, making it all crazy, of the ones that I've seen, the ones that I've pulled from online. And then you guys let me know what you think, if you try this, what they think. And if you need more examples, I will post this link in my communities tab for you guys. We can come up with our own for Strong Prison Wives and Families, and then just have fun writing them. Just sit down, take a night, because a lot of times we get bored or we have nothing to do on the weekend and we want to figure out something that we could do to spend the time to feel close to them. Just think about what they would want to hear or would need to hear when they're sad or lonely or depressed, or on the last day, or on the first day, or on parole day, or when they're disappointed, and write out that letter from your heart. This could take you a while to do. That's okay. You could do 3 or 4 at a time. 3 or 4, that's 5. You could do 3 or 4 or 5 even at a time, and then save the rest for when you have more time to write a letter. There's dozens and dozens of different ways that you can transform this and make it your own and make it a really special gift for your loved one on the inside. So I can't wait to hear what you guys have in store, how you morph this to fit around the restrictions and confines of not only the facility where they're at, but also your relationship itself. You just might be a funny couple that busts each other's chops all day long, so you could turn this into like a funny thing. Or you might be a really sappy couple that cries all the time. I don't know why I did like so dramatic, because I am. And then you could turn it into something, you know, a little bit more serious. So you just make this yours, have fun with it, enjoy, get creative, get those creative juices flowing, and let us know what you do in the comments below and what they think in the comments below. You guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you beautiful ladies and gentlemen in the next one. But until then, keep getting creative. Keep making sure you tell your loved one how much they are adored and missed and loved. And you could do that in these creative ways with things like open when letters, or whatever comes to your mind and sparks your creative juices. I'd love to know. I'd love to know how I inspired you. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.